that's a hard biography to follow. So I think I will start by reading another biography, which is an autobiography written by Daniel Harms, who is, as Michelle mentioned, somebody I've translated in the past. The translations are collected in a work called Today I Wrote Nothing. So now I will tell you how I was born, how I grew up, and how the first signs of genius manifested themselves in me. I was born twice. It happened like this. My dad was wed to my mom in 1902, but only at the end of 1905 did my parents bring me into this world, because Dad wished for his child to be born on New Year's Day without fail. Dad calculated that the conception must take place on April 1st, and only on that day rolled up to Mom with the proposition to conceive a child. The first time Dad rolled up to my mom was April 1st, 1903. Mom had been waiting for this moment for a long time and was awfully happy. But Dad evidently was in a joking mood and couldn't help but say, "April Fools." Mom got awfully upset and didn't let Dad near her that day. There was nothing to do but wait until the following year. In 1904, on April 1st, Dad weaseled up to Mom with the same proposition, but remembering the previous year's incident, Mom said that she didn't want to be made a fool of twice, and again, didn't let Dad near her. No matter how much Dad raged, it couldn't be helped, and only a year later, my dad was able to talk my mom into conceiving me. And that's how my conception occurred on April 1st, 1905. Yet all of Dad's calculations were foiled because I ended up being born prematurely, 4 months before I was due. Dad threw such a fit that the midwife who had taken me out was flustered and started shoving me back into the place I just crawled out of. Witness to all this was a student who we knew from the Military Medical Academy who proclaimed that shoving me back in wouldn't work. Despite the words of the student, they shoved me in after all. But as it turned out, though they really did shove me back in, they shoved me into the wrong place. Here began a terrible commotion. The birth mother cried, "Bring me my baby," and the reply, "Your child," they say, "is inside of you." "What?" says the birth mother. "How can the child be inside me when I just gave birth to it?" "But," they say to the birth mother, "perhaps you're mistaken." "What do you mean mistaken?" shouts the birth mother. "How can I be mistaken? I saw it with my own 2 eyes just a second ago." The child was lying right there on the sheet. "This is true," comes the reply, "but maybe he crawled in somewhere." In short, they just didn't know what to say. And the birth mother keeps making a ruckus and demanding her baby. They had to call an experienced doctor. The experienced doctor examined the birth mother and threw up his hands. But then he thought of something and gave the birth mother a good-sized helping of English salts. The birth mother made a bowel movement, and that's how I came into the world for the second time. At that point, my dad flew into another fit of rage, saying something like, "What? You call this a birth?" And we went on to say, "It's not even a person yet, more like halfway to a fetus, and that it should either be shoved back in or else put in an incubator." And so they put me in an incubator. September 25th, 1935. Okay, so I will be reading mostly things written between this summer and now. And this summer I was in St. Petersburg, so I will read an anecdote, perhaps for Harms and also for collaborations with translators. Okay, this is called Chereslo. One knows not what it is. One knows but can't explain. The graduate student is sure it is one of the 2 soft cushions of the buttocks. In other words, it is a buttock. The one who knows but cannot describe it insists that the graduate student cannot be so sure. It is not an idea that can be so easily explained away. The foreign language speakers try to translate it, even though they are not sure what it means. Perhaps it will be clearer in another language, though you must have existed in 14th century Russia to understand it. In fact, the word kreslo seems to have come from the need to pose this very question about chereslo, somewhere to rest. One would never understand this notion when paired with the English word chair. No, the chereslo could never rest. But there are comparable expressions. Plodyivo chereslo, fruit of his loins. The youngest, most eager to eat, suggests it's the male counterpart to the womb, chrevo, but this is outright rejected. There is the suggestion from the one who can't explain that we stop talking about this, since he knows. Okay, now I will move on to poetry, in the other sense of the word. This is called promiscuity. Promiscuity, promiscuity, promise acuity. In dense fog on a mountain pass, I die, you slept. I drive, you wept. I could not see, you dreamt and dreamt. I joined a train, we caravanned, side by side, what's far as near. We might have met upon the last, breath a cloud and thought a sea, what holy grace acuity. We did that climb, not you nor I, and fixed our gaze upon the sky, which in the ground swell did appear, so close and far, so far and near. My sap, my love, my life, my fate, is not the rhyme with which I mate, which heaves its oars and splits the trees, blows leaves steadfast in flurries. A pleasure dome, crisped in the folds, a gas station to save our souls, with pumps and hoses flipped and switched, alive in switchbacks we were fixed. America, you bit my lip, while along the pitch we dipped and spit. This poem just has an epigraph from Keats. It's a strange ministrant of undescribed sounds. Fimbriated lip sinks, needy vibrations, desirous of scalloped ear and ship's mate. A shoal of sea, a field lisps in wisps, whips its fibers upon a hasty wind. What picture of a love is this? What picture of a love is this? See how it grows, then fades in waiting light, when underground cisterns, all royal and might in projections, feel a tender limb of body whole, as universe is nil. Okay. This is Equinox, which we had recently. So you can guess when this was written. Once I couldn't take my eyes off Jesus in Pasolini's gospel. Flat cheeks, soaring eyes, owl, nose, heckling the Nazarenes to build straight roads for the way all these features but the last, and a solid brow lined up with yours. Do you know you arrive on a sea of pictures, walking on water, advancing in stages of light like the day and night always together? Febrile durability, recharge, consultation of the sources, a labor of forgetting, the steep climb between my time and your eternity, gap jumping goes the heart. While the shooting hand changes direction among a crowd of soldiers, spotting handsome ones, while the other hand knows not, only sees and squeezes your hand in laughter. What horror of sentimentality for the Mediterranean rock-strewn field and open. This is called Daily Bread. Something spontaneous, planned. Rain room and window to New York, autumn. This card is a definite yes. To any questions about love, an electric yes. Yes. Something you have to see to believe. 0-100 army time to take care of dreams and muscle mending for tomorrow's case that brings me home. Pack nothing but a carry-on. Fly Delphi. Feel ambivalent about joy all summer long. except when a drunk droog trots with a 2x4, grazing SUVs and city buses, putting orange cones in roads, perfectly passable just to control, front row seats to everything. Better than the rite of spring, ballet position -1 set off riots 100 years ago, how not to bulldoze positions, how chemical weapons in Syria attack the eyes. So, this is another attempt at an autobiography. Seems to be the theme. Autobiography. Me roots is constantly running aways, for this my grandpa traveled the world, distracted by the flip of polka dot skirt, in search of his ma he English learned. In the bowels of a boat riding the waves that carried him to Australia, then India, now cousins in Thailand on Sapphire Sea, spokespeople of Holloway make claims on me. I traced my way to Petersburg, but below me lay a bog. Riga wasn't far, but the mirrors panted fog. Then to Maghreb's atlas, where palettes slide against the sun. Leo da Vinci learned he knew from nature. Now nature learns from. Rembrandt moved to Amsterdam when portraits were in demand. Did the Phoebic not always feel at home, no matter where they roamed, but especially at Penelope's, where she could not leave knit a knot? Along the pitch they barbecued, smoky fingers they gestured, at the amphibian nude. Continuous slipping, they outhosted themselves, sprawled across corners. Did the horse make the saddle? Does the king make his throne? Did the rocks and a dock or the clocks make a home? What hurry to feel sheets, to find the source of a sight, to be sure when awake, feel the absence of a blur. For a moment whir, tendrils climb, and round the roar that makes the line. So I have 2 more. This one is called Small Miracles on Public Transit. Polyvinyl acetate. Forget about those spills, water, fur, or it sounds like fantasy, science fiction, but ladies and gentlemen and masters of the house, this is science. The latest in Velcro, innovation on the Elektrichka sucks it all right up. Like the thing the guy on the metro, only that material stuck to any surface and holds any object, so you could stick it to the roof of your car or hang yourself or cell phone from the ceiling. This is Lands of Infinite Sunsets for Benjamin, Walter Benjamin. It is forever while I say it is. The sun racing around the corner just as I can look at it with bright eyes, and after image is only everywhere at once, not supposed to look at the sun. Only before it goes, it leaves a golden thread. Shiny penny, I hold my breath, a photographic plate, and the sun is my maker. I came with no guarantee, and now I cannot be the connections between the letters. The sun connects because it is the addressee. I rage to catch sky's skate wings. Farewell, now light the streets as fleets of fire. Thank you.